Looking through the crystal ball, can you picture this? And it isn't sad at all.
Ciao and welcome to Gio's Paintbrush, where 5 minutes is all it takes to be blown away by one of the world's greatest artists. Today we'll consider a moving work of public art belonging to the memorial genre, with a monument Dana and I consider to be one of the most powerful in the world. The 311 Memorial at Madrid's Estacion de Atocha, the city's central railway station. It was near here that terrorists took the lives of 191 people and injured nearly 2,000 on March 11, 2004, detonating bombs on Spanish trains bound for Atocha, causing the cruel and senseless suffering of thousands. That's the really tragic thing about terrorism, and to me, why it's more a criminal justice matter than a military one. There's not a single example in the history of the world in which terrorists actually advance their agenda through stupid random murder, unlike the countless examples of national armies using violence to advance the agendas of their countries. Not one. And so given that reality, it's not really about terrorists actually winning, but instead about law enforcement preventing and apprehending the guilty and holding them accountable for their crimes. I do not believe that our way of life is threatened by terrorists unless we ourselves change our way of life out of fear and anger, reducing ourselves to their level. Sadly, there isn't a country in the world, not even 20 countries, which, if we conquered and subdued and occupied for 100 years, that would wipe terrorism from the face of the earth. Spain's 311 Memorial is a powerful work of art that demonstrates how tragedy can bring people together from across the globe to assert what President Lincoln once called the better angels of our nature, even in the wake of being confronted with our worst demons and the nightmarish suffering of innocent men, women, and children. That's what today's episode is all about. Thanks for joining us. Dana took this photograph from inside the memorial at Atocha, standing underground beneath the 36-foot-tall glass cylinder that extends upward from the station right through the street. This blue room, accessible only from inside the station, stands as a quiet, reflective sanctuary, right there in the midst of the capital city's crowded, busy rail hub. The soothing blue color and the seating platforms placed around the room encourage one to slow down, to stop, to meditate. The space serves as a retreat and engenders a sense of calm, of serenity in the visitor. The names of the victims of the attack are listed on a nearby wall, memorializing each individual, while at the same time collectively communicating the terrible scale of the loss endured that day. But I would not describe this thoughtfully created space as discouraging or depressing. On the contrary, light pours through the glass cylinder, which begins in the center of the ceiling and continues up and out over the street above. This natural light illuminates the room and serves as an inspiring focal point that draws one's gaze upward, instinctively, into the cylinder. What one sees in the cylinder is also quite moving. Written as one long paragraph, all along the inside of the cylinder, on a translucent material that allows light through, but also serves as a sort of a single sheet of paper, spiraling upward toward the sky, are messages of support and condolences in numerous languages from around the globe, received in the hours and days after the 311 attack. The cylinder is made of more than 12,000 clear glass bricks and weighs 160 tons. As a single day passes and the sun's light moves naturally across the sky, the messages made the most visible from inside the room change too. In this sense, the entire world speaks with one voice every day against hatred and intolerance and violence. As for the appearance of the glass tower at street level, rising up from a traffic island in the middle of a busy intersection, it would be inaccurate to describe the view as beautiful or even interesting. In fact, when we visited in December of 2008, it appeared more like a strangely placed column of dirty glass that initially we thought served some type of practical function related to the station below. We had to ask a policeman for directions to the monument, and he smiled and simply pointed at the glass structure right there in front of us. My belief is that Gil Fournier and the firm had to know that the view at street level was not aesthetically pleasing, and I'm left to conclude it was done intentionally, with this column piercing unexpectedly through the pavement, like an intruder into the lives of Spaniards, much like that tragic day that inspired its creation. Creating memorial art for public placement is not easy. It is heartrending, controversial, expensive, and almost certain to leave some hurt and angry, as we ourselves are learning in our effort to erect a fitting memorial at the World Trade Center site to the victims of 9/11. Madrid's memorial, dedicated in 2007, 3 years after the attack, was government-funded, costing €6 million. In today's American dollars, that's well over $9 million. By contrast, the memorial in Pennsylvania for the passengers on United Flight 93, which was hijacked and crashed on 9/11, will cost over $60 million. Work began on that project this month. The memorial plan for the World Trade Center site in New York City is projected to cost about $1 billion and will probably not be completed until 2013 or 14, more than a decade after the attacks, according to the New York Daily News. Memorializing the victims of tragedies like these is daunting. Honoring the dead, while at the same time seeking to reaffirm the best in humanity, and offering hope and meaning to those who remain, all executed in full public view, with deeply personal grieving, political finger-pointing, and calls for vengeance all around you. Given the enormous challenges involved in creating public memorials, I believe that Spain's 311 monument is a powerful, meaningful, and one-of-a-kind work of public art that both memorializes the victims of that tragic day and reaffirms all that is good and inspiring and empathetic in humankind. Art like this is yet another way of demonstrating that, in the end, terrorism is a stupid and futile endeavor, and has always been, whatever the cause, that simply cannot compete with the better angels of our nature. Thanks for joining us.